Namaskar. I'm Supriya Mahabaleshwarkar, co-convener INTAC Pune. I welcome you all on behalf of INTAC, the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini, and BIF Development Research Foundation. As we begin today, it has become a nice ritual every evening since the past 3 days that we are coming together every evening to celebrate our traditional water systems. Just give me a moment till I share a file. Yeah, the picture that we see on the screen, as most of you would be aware, is from the cover of the book Aaj Bhi Khare Hai Talab by late Anupam Mishra. The picture is called Sita Baudi. The description of the tattoo is as follows. Sita's well has a main inlet source. It expands in the form of waves within. In the center is the nucleus, the source of energy. Steps lead into the well, bridging the outside to the inside. The four corners have carved stone flowers, symbolizing the essential fragrance of life. बीचों बीच है एक बिंदु जो जीवन का प्रतीक है. मुख्य आयत के भीतर लहरें हैं, बाहर है सीढ़ियां. चारों कोनों पर फूल है जो जीवन को सुगंध से भर देते हैं. पानी पर आधारित एक पूरे जीवन दर्शन को इतने सरल सरस ढंग से 8-10 रेखाओं में उतार पाना कठिन काम है, लेकिन हमारे समाज का बड़ा हिस्सा बहुत सहजता के साथ इस बावड़ी को गुदने की तरह अपने तन पर उकेरता रहा है. With this wisdom that Anupam Mishra ji shared in his book, we, on occasion of World Water Week 2022, INTAC, Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini, and BIF Development Research Foundation are organizing this series of online talks. The series aims to create awareness about the importance of traditional water systems of India with focus on step wells. India has a rich heritage of water conservation through its numerous traditional water systems. They represent the knowledge associated with them, along with the diversity of geographical settings and culture. Understanding these systems could lead to important inputs in dealing with the water crisis today, thus leading to a more sustainable and equitable water management for the humans as well as more than human beings on earth. We are happy to have with us Dr. Shubha Kamlapurkar with us here today as the guest speaker. I welcome her, and we move on to introduction to Dr. Shubha and then her talk. I'm just going to stop sharing. Yeah. Is Sneha here? I somehow cannot see Sneha. I will proceed with introducing Dr. Shubha. Dr. Shubha Kamlapurkar has...
Yeah, just it was not unmuting.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Sneha, would you like to go ahead and introduce the speaker, please?
Yeah. So good evening, all of you. So I'll just introduce the speaker. So today we have with us Dr. Shubha Kamlapurkar. She has completed her doctorate in architecture from Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune, and masters in architecture with specialization in architectural conservation in 1994 from School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. She has also completed her graduation in architecture in 1992. She has been a founder member of BN College of Architecture, Maharti Karve. Shikshan Sanstha, and a pioneering force behind the development of MR landscape architecture courses Savitribai Phule, Pune University. She specializes in architectural conservation and has a keen interest in conservation of natural and cultural resources. Being an active member of INACT and ICOMOS, she conducts heritage walks for national and international corporates, schools, and NGOs, enlightening them on the city's valuable heritage. She is well traveled and has presented many papers in national and international conferences in India and abroad. Yeah, so I welcome Dr. Shubha Kamlapurkar and I request Supriya to continue.
Dr. Shubha will be sharing on her screen itself from her computer. Yeah.
So thank you, Sneha. Thank you, Supriya. That was a real long introduction of mine. I'll just start sharing the screen so that we can start with the presentation. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah. So firstly, a big thank you, to invite me to talk on water. Water is something very close to my heart, and I'm sure it's close to most of us, because it's a prime, what you can say, public utility and the necessity of all civilizations, and it's played a major role in the development and of most of our cities and towns across India, not only India, all over the world, I would say. So thank you, INTAC. Thank you, Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini and BioF Research Foundation for inviting me over here. So today, actually, I'm going to talk more on the Peshwa Kalin, water supply systems. So it's, but I'll also try to give you a glimpse.
मॅडम आपला स्क्रीन दिसत नाहीये.
दिसत नाहीये?
नाही.
ओ ओके, परत करू का शेअर?
हो.
दिसतोय?
नाही अजून दिसत आहे. मगाशी दिसला होता, आता नाही दिसत आहे.
बहुतेक मी चुकीचं करते का?
शेअर स्क्रीन खाली एक ग्रीन विंडो आहे ना, तिथे तुम्हाला हे करायचंय आणि मग तुमचं पीपीटी.
आता दिसतंय?
नाही अजून.
You can see the notification that you have started screen share not yet loaded. I think it's taking time. If it's heavy, it may take time. Let's give it some time. The picture isn't up yet.
आलं होतं.
मगाशी आलं होतं. ओके, परत एकदा करते ट्राय.
Yeah, maybe you could try opening up beforehand on your computer.
केलंय मी ऍक्च्युली तसं.
You have, okay.
दिसतंय?
बघूया एक दोन.
Not yet.
मला वाटतं मी 2 केल्यात ना ओपन, मे बी म्हणून होत असेल. एक मिनिट, मी जरा
maybe the
एक बंद करते मे बी.
Yes. Yeah, thank you all for your patience till we figure this out. I'm sure it will be up in no time.
दिसतंय?
एक 2 मिनिट थांबून बघूया मॅडम.
Yeah, we can see the notification. We cannot see the presentation yet. Yeah, I think it's just taking time to load.
ठीक आहे, मे बी तुम्ही तोपर्यंत तुमचं इंट्रोडक्टरी टॉक सुरू करूया. मग परत एकदा मध्ये तुम्ही विचारा की दिसतंय का.
हो, पण नाही दिसत आहे का अजून?
नाही.
अरे, मगाशी तर दिसत होतं.
मगाशी दिसत होतं. पीपीटी ओपन आहे बरोबर?
हो, नाही मी ऍक्च्युली त्यातलं एक आता बंद केलंय. सो होपफुली आता दिसेल असं मला वाटतंय. बघूया. मला फेल टू स्टार्ट येत आहे. स्क्रीन शेअरिंग हॅज फेल टू स्टार्ट. द विंडो यू सिलेक्टेड इज इनव्हॅलिड म्हणताय.
एक मिनिट.
बरं, मी एक दुसरी बघते, बट आय डोंट नो वेदर दिस इज राईट प्रेझेंटेशन.
मॅडम, मी तर तुम्हाला को होस्ट करते. बघूया.
better that
And
way.
Shubhada ma'am, you can also try keeping your video off. If you can keep your video off, it will help give some bandwidth for the uploading process. And
Okay.
once it's up, you can switch on the video.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
try
Okay.
also.
आता दिसतंय का?
आता मी तुम्हाला को-होस्ट पण केलेलं आहे कारण.
आता दिसतंय?
Not yet.
अरे
Do you have a PDF ready? I've got some suggestions saying that you can make a PDF and share it.
आता नाही दिसत आहे का तुम्हाला?
नाही अजून.
आणि मगाशी दिसलं होतं सरप्राइझिंगली, म्हणजे तेवढ्यात काय झालं, मगाशी आपण पुढे मागे पण करून बघितलं ना, कारण
ते अनशेअर नको होतं का करायला?
काय
ते अनशेअर मगाशी नको होतं करायला बहुतेक. ओके सो
एक काम करता का मॅडम, तुम्ही पाहिजे तर बाहेर पडा आणि
मला वाटतं मी तसं करते. आय विल रीलॉग इन.
ओपन करा प्रेझेंटेशन आणि मग जॉईन व्हा. असं करून बघा, म्हणजे जस्ट क्विक प्रोसेस. नाही तर मग मॅडम म्हटलं तसं काय PDF वगैरे करताय.
Thank you all for your patience. As Zoom is allowing us to log in from any part of the world and coming together, it also has its issues sometimes. So let's give it some time and I'm sure it will be sorted in a while.
मॅडम परत झाल्या जॉईन.
Yeah.
दिसतंय?
Yes.
Now it's up. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for that. Yeah. So I'll be basically focusing on the Pune water supply system, but we will definitely delve a little bit on the Nagar system as well. कारण basically जेव्हा पेशव्यांनी ती सिस्टम केली तेव्हा they actually got inspired by the system which was there in Ahmednagar, which the Nizams were enjoying fully. So I'll just start with a simple observation. We all love to see the Google images, and many a times when we go by flight, we like to be near the window of the aeroplane and see how beautiful our cities look from the top. So I'm sure you all must have recognized this is Bombay and this is the Indian Ocean, and so and when you go a little bit closer, you will come to see that there are some very interesting features. And one wonders, why are we seeing these features? Because there's so much water which is nearby. Why are we at all seeing Barganga tank over there? So these are some questions which kind of intrigue us and make us think as to why these particular systems were developed, why were these water bodies developed. So this wonderful tank of Barganga, and there's a lot of festivals and a lot of happenings that are happening over there. It's like community owned tank, and it's very, very beautiful and nice place to be. Then sometimes you see, these kind of fountains which are now lying in derelict, very neglected, sometimes getting converted into dustbins. And then there are these iconic features which kind of give identity to our cities. So this is this Flora fountain, which is very beautiful, and this whole Mumbai, we know that it's kind of associated with this Flora fountain. So coming back to Pune, even Pune, if you see, it's beautiful. It's got this Mura Mutta river, and then you have You can see this nice Shaniwar Wada and many bridges over there. So it's a very beautiful kind of imagery of our city, which you see from the top. And then if you really go close, you will find that there is water, and then there are many elements which get associated with water. There is life which revolves around water, and then people kind of associate themselves very, very closely and very deeply with this very wonderful element, water. So these are the ghats which make the whole edges of the river very, very active, and you see multiple happenings, multiple activities happening throughout the day. In the morning, you will see something else happening. In the evening, you will see something else. In the afternoon, you see people probably sleeping over there or resting kind of. So very interesting happening. Some of them washing the clothes. You'll find some people drying the clothes. So very interesting kind of interface between the land and the water. Now, when we talk about the Pune, water supply system, what comes in front of our eyes first is that, when we say Pune, it is Shaniwar Wada. And then when you see, imagine Shaniwar Wada, what you see is an axis, and then there are many courts one after the other, and there is water, small water bodies of different sizes and different shapes that are there inside this particular Shaniwar Wada. One wonders, how is it that Peshwas, we've heard stories that there were fountains and there was music and there was dance, a lot of entertainment that was happening around inside the Shaniwar Wada. Utility facilities were there. There's a kitchen and there's a beautiful Pushkarni, fountain over there, and there are small and big houses. There's Chiman Bagh. So there's so much that is there inside this Wada, and one wonders how is it that the fountains worked inside this particular area? I mean, that there was not this आत्ताचं जे आपण corporationचं पाणी पाहतो किंवा the lines right now it's fed with that, but once upon a time it was not. So it was a very, very interesting system that was led to get the water inside the Shaniwar Wada so that the Peshwas can enjoy the fountains. So that was the fun part of it. So this is the close view of one of the tanks over there, which is even today filled with water, and there are fountains which are now running on, of course, electricity. So no more on the age-old system. So these are some of the features inside the Shaniwar Wada, which you see. Over here, you'll find a tank which is there, part of the kitchen, and this is Pushkarni House, which is said to have 1,000 jets. And this is Chiman Bagh, and the whole Shaniwar Wada has kind of got many, many water outlets. Now, this is how we see Pune today. So Pune, as you know, it's in a saucer-shaped basin, and we are fortunate to have a natural terrain and hills in the vicinity. And even within the city, you have small hills, like you have the Parvati, you have, Vital Tekadi, so many hills. So we are blessed with a very beautiful landscape in and around, the Pune city. But was really Pune, did it develop ekdam se aise? No, it's developed over a period of time. So we'll just go through it as to, why this need for entire system and how this water was got inside and why at all, because there was a river over there, right? So people might as well lift the water from the river and take it to their homes and drink it. But still you find a very, very beautiful system underground, hidden somewhere deep, and beautifully laid out over there. It's no more intact, but yes, there are some parts, and there are some visuals which I can show you, which are very old, as old as 1990 to 94. So the system was really quite in good condition, and I did my master's thesis on the water supply systems and urban spatial structure related to it. So here you will find this river, and this is Shaniwar Wada. And of course, you find Mandai over here. So if you can see my arrow. So this is how, Pune actually has, it started developing. So you have the river, and there was a small fortified town, and, there were some people living inside the fort, some people living outside the fort. And Shaniwar Wada never existed over here before. And then you will find that, you have this Nagzari stream, and then Manipura, and, so a lot of small streams and, which were there, and that kind of guided the development. So you'll find that now the town has started developing on the east and west side, and it will start eventually developing on the south side. So this is how, you know, you'll find that this is the river, and you have Shaniwarwada somewhere here, and now the town has started growing south, you know. And of course the people who are staying over here, they have lesser access to the river. They are very, very far away from the river. Okay, so basically this particular line, which is Katras Aqueduct, there are 4 aqueducts, as you must be knowing. There's this Katras Aqueduct, Saudari Aqueduct, Raste Aqueduct, and then Fadnavis Aqueduct, so which is, you know, marked over here. Raste is somewhere over here. So Katras Aqueduct is, you know, coming from this side, the south side, and then till this particular Shaniwarwada. And on the route, it has got very, very interesting kind of, you know, network which is there. So we will just go through the details of that. Now, this was laid by Nana Fadnavis, and a very, very intelligent person. And his photo, in fact, I showed you in the second slide. So you will find that, you know, he kind of did a lot of research, a lot of surveys, and you'll find that Pune has a drop from the Katras lake. You will find there is a slope of around, and then it's around 18 kilometers distance, and there's a huge drop going till the river. Just a minute, hold on. I'll just a minute, hold on. Yeah, sorry, there was a machine which was going on in the background, so sorry. So you'll find this Katras lake, which is over there. So you know, this water which comes is from the nearby hills, and yeah. So technically, if you see, there were 2 lakes that were kind of built. So water is impounded over here. You have the upper lake, the water flows down, and then there is a lower lake. Okay, now why 2 lakes? The water which is coming over here, the water is kind of getting settled, and the silt is kind of getting settled, and a more cleaner water goes into this lower lake. And then from the lower lake, there is a huge line which goes underground and which comes till Shaniwarwada. Okay, and on the way, it has got very, very interesting engineering that goes behind it. So I'll talk about that as well. So you have 2 huge lakes which are the source of water to the water which is coming till Shaniwarwada. Okay, so you'll find that these are the 2 lakes, and then you have this line which is coming close by the Sarasbagh, and then you have an intricate network of water, you know, water system, and then it goes till Shaniwarwada and it further branches. Okay, so this is the system which we are talking about. Now, when I did studies, fortunately, there was a lot of work which was done by the Pune Municipal Water Supply Station, that is Swargate, and I could draw this network, and some of it was really in very, very good condition. So I'll show you some of the pictures as well. So Kala Haud was not there, but there was a air shaft from where people were drawing water. So you will find this is a huge network. So there is Katras Reservoir. It goes from Chaitraban. So there are some air shafts, air wells. Then it goes to Bibbewadi pumping station. Then from Shivadarshan, there is supposed to be, you know, one air shaft over there. Then it comes down to Sarasbagh, and, you know, it further branches and the network becomes more and more complicated. So these are some of the, you know, tanks. There are some of these are air ducts. And that's how the system becomes more and more complex. So now if you see Pune city, this is the river and this is Shaniwarwada. So you will find that this X, this is from the Pune Queen of Deccan, this particular image. So you will find this is the Katras, you know, system which is going till the Shaniwarwada, and it's kind of branching. Then you have, and the source of course is the lake, as I have said. Then there is this Fadnis aqueduct, which is coming from this side, north, south, east, west. So this is kind of southwest side. So the source of it is wells. So there's water from the wells, which is quite far off. So that's taken over here, and then there's a small network. The most intricate network is the Katras network, which branches and branches and branches till the Shaniwar Wada. Okay, and then you have from this side the Chaudhary, system, again a small system, and then this Z is the Raste, aqueduct, which is brought by the Raste, and it served water to the Raste Wada and the nearby houses. Now, very interestingly, it gave connections at two levels. One level is the private. So you have the connection. So wherever this line was going underground, it kind of came up and then it gave connections to the Vadas. So most of the tanks in the Vadas, this is Vishrambag Vada. So it had the connection from the Fadnis aqueduct, and these fountains were actually working on that. So today you see a small community house over there on the boundary wall of the Vishrambag Vada. But even these tanks or the houses had very beautiful fountains. Today they run on electricity, but once upon a time it ran on the pressure which came from the wells onto till here. This I'm sure you all know. This is plan of the Nana Vada, and as you know, the front part used to be the office, and the back part used to be more of a private stay place. So this was the office, and the office, when I surveyed, it had a beautiful base of a fountain. So this was actually the fountain which kind of made the air more humidified, and it became an element of luxury. So it showed how luxurious the Peshwas and its ministers lived. So this is Nana Fadnavis Vada, and this is the fountain. Once upon a time there was a fountain over here. This tank was not existing. Now, when Nana Fadnavis had his own private connection, he also saw to it that the public was served. So just opposite Nana Vada, you will find Nana House. So this is the Nana House, which is right now, mostly used for washing the rickshaws and all. But once upon a time, they were very beautiful houses over there. I'll show you some houses, how it might have been at that point of time. I'll show you image of the Sadashiv house, which I could catch at that point of time. So you will find that these people, they did serve the community. So the water was not just served to this particular house or a palatial mansion, I would say. It also served the community, and almost half-kilometer radius, the people living within that was served by this Nana House. So there were similar such many community tanks located at various places. Okay, so if you see over here, this is Nana Vada in plan, and this is the Nana House. So it's a beautiful space opposite Nana Vada, which is active, where the community comes together. They might be washing over there. They might be filling their morning, water. There may be some snan sandhya that is happening over there. So very interesting kind of detail that happened over here. Yeah. So this is one of the house, and it had kind of steps like you have ghats astattaso. So it had steps which were there. So this is a community house which people are using. Again, a image from the Queen of Deccan, Pune. Now these are some of this is kind of a technical information. The reference is Pallavi Gokhale. Pallavi Gokhale did extensive research on this, and I kind of slightly gave inputs from my side. She had approached me. So this is how the lakes are placed, and it's a topography which is sloping towards the river. So you have one tank, the second tank, and the water slopes. And on the way, there are many air wells, air ducts, which I don't know whether you're able to see over here, but these, the water's running there around 20 feet, 30 feet underground, and these are air wells and air ducts. I'll show you technically how it looks. Yes, so this is a page which talks about Pune's Pani, and very interesting, very technical study done by this student of archaeology. Yeah. So this is the plan, the layout which I have worked on. So you'll find this is the lake. The water from the hills are getting collected at, of course, 2 levels. There's one lake, there's this second lake. Then you have the air duct. There's a wall which is forming the dam. बाकीचं पाणी आंबीलोडाच्या स्वरूपात जातं, but partly it goes in the form of there's a duct which is underground, and then you have these round or square wells. So these are all air wells. Okay, so they are called as uchvas. So there are these air wells. This is how it looks in section. So the pipeline is not straight. It slopes down and down and down. Okay, so the water from here, it flows from here. Then this is the air well or an air shaft. It goes further down. Again, an air shaft which is located around 100 meters center to center. Then you have the water going further down, a bigger shaft, and it goes down. Now you will wonder why, what is this? Why this particular sunk over there? The sunk is there so that the water is going to be a bit silty, right? There's going to be a bit of mud that is going to be still carried. Okay, so this mud, when it goes from here, it settles down here in this chamber. And then the cleaner water flows and it further settles down, whatever little will be there. And so by the time the water reaches, whether it be for drinking or whether it be for recreation, that in the form of fountains. So the water is much, much cleaner. Now this air column or air shaft is creating an air column which keeps the water moving. So that is the hydraulic engineering that is, kind of there. Now you'll wonder how big is this particular shaft. This shaft is like 2 feet by 6 feet. So this height is 6 feet and the width is 2 feet. So people can simply walk. Now you will wonder how people will walk because it's all full of water. Okay, now the technique was what they had is that from here you can actually go down, and there were walls over here, So there were walls over here on this side, so that you can put dowels. You can put dowels over here. You can take the water out, take the silt out from this air column or air shaft, and then clean this whole thing, and the dowels are removed and the water kind of flows further. So very, very interesting kind of technical detail that went into this. Now you will wonder, this particular whole masonry, it's said that it was done by the person from the mason was from the Nagar, who actually had helped laid out the Nagar, system, which was it's 400 years old. It's somewhere like 1500. And this was somewhere around 1730, 1745 that you have this particular system. Now this system was all in stone and local basalt stone, and it was lined with lime. So you will find that the lime has medicinal properties, and therefore water which flew from this, that duct had medicinal qualities, and it was supposed to be very, very pure and good quality water. Okay. So this is how. Now one will wonder, की अरे मग ते दगडाचं केलं तर मग खापरी नळ का म्हणतात? So now you will find that this main line was actually the stone line. Okay, but individual connections which were given from this air well were actually the terracotta connections. So that's why Khapri. So you will find that this is how it was. So this is a terracotta kind of a cylindrical shaped unit, and it kind of interlocked into yet another unit, and that's how the the line was formed. So you will have this tapering part and this part going inside over here, the next one. Okay, and wherever there is a junction, you will find this kind of terracotta detail which was there. Okay, and this kind of came over here and it went into the form of a houd or a fountain. Okay, now the way to control this fountain was more of a dowel technique. So many times, if the dowel is not fitting well, the water will kind of flow off and it will run across. So that was the way the water was kind of controlled. Now, when I was studying during that time behind the Halwai, the Gushet Halwai temple, I saw one air shaft. See this. So this is one brick air shaft which is there. which I showed to you in section. I showed to you over here. Okay, so this shaft was very much there. Now you won't see it, but these are all flat bricks, and you will find this air shaft which is creating air pressure, and the water moved further till the Shaniwar Wada. Now this is near Kala Haud. So when I surveyed long back, and so I think we conducted yet another survey in 2006-2008. We found that was for European Union funding. I worked with myself and Sharvia Dhode sir. We did a survey, and we worked for Vijay Paranspe sir. He's also going to talk in the series. So this was how, people were using water. They were not knowing ki kahan se aa raha hai pani. But the water was always there, whether there's in the tap or not. This was always filled with water. Okay, and this is near Kala Haud. This is Bahumara's board, and people are using the air shaft water. Further, if you go, when I did the study, this is this Bahumara's bowl tank. Now it's totally closed. But at that point of time, there was this tank and people were using it. It was becoming a nuisance. So corporation closed it. But this is an old tank which was used at that point of time. And then this is Shaniwar, this is Sadashiv Haud. So this is a picture. Now you don't see this house. There's a building which has come up, but you see two houses over there. One wonders why these two houses. So one water was used for, one of the houses that it was used basically for washing the clothes and, the animals and the horses drinking water. And one of them was clean drinking water. Okay, so that's how you will find many a times it's a combination of two houses. And see the way it's detailed, you have this beautiful steps so that people can do their snan sandhya, daily rituals. There's a temple over here, which at that point was there. I don't know whether it's existing now. So this is this Sadashiv Haud, and these are the two tanks, and the water came from here. Okay, so the water came from here, and on that side it came from there. So this is Fadnis Aqueduct. So this is the survey which I had done at that time, and there's this list of tanks which was very beautifully documented, and I surveyed it, and I located in which pate it belonged and whether it was in working condition, how many number of connections it had. So there were public connections, there were private connections. Some of the connections were inside the Vadas, some of them were near the Talim Khanas. I don't know how many of you know, but even Tulshi Bagh had 3 tanks. Many a times during rainy seasons, you will find that there is water which is flowing from the shops over there. And that's because, these tanks are kind of right now covered with slab, and they're still, the water is still there, and it many a times when there is too much of water in the pipeline, it kind of overflows. So there were 3 houses. One of them was a Brahmin house, the other was Kundi house, and there was a third house. So this was used by the people who are visiting the temples, the Tulshi Bagh temple. Okay, and even when I got the plan of the Tulshi Bagh temple, I found that the Tulshi Bagh temple, what you can say, Sabha Mandapa, had, when Tulshi Bagh wale, that time their generation, they gave me the old plan, it had a fountain in the center. The way I showed you the Nana, how the kind of fountain, it's similar shape fountain was there in that Sabha Mandapa of the Ram temple. So this is again, some of these connections. So these are some of the Vadas, Bodas Vada, Guruji Vada. So it had individual connections, and there were some some connections in the Vada, some of them in the Mahal. Budhwar Vada had a connection. Even today you will find water over there coming. So this is how that whole system was kind of documented, and its status was noted. And then you have Fadnavis Aqueduct, so water brought from Nariyambegaon, and then few connections. It's like Sadashiv Haud, Pushkarni Haud, Vishrambar Vada. So very few connections, and it was brought specifically for Vishrambar Vada. So this is a small, again, aqueduct. Then Raste Aqueduct. So you have again Raste Vada and temples. So they had connections. So this is how, and then you have Chaudhary Aqueduct. So Pancha Haud, Panchmukhi Maruti. So all these you will find that they were kind of filled in. Some of them were in working condition. some of them demolished, some of them have gone in the road widening, unfortunately. Okay, so, but still I think Katra's system is still in working condition, and sometimes you do see water in, in the main line. This is a glimpse of Nagar Nizam Shahi. So as I said, 1565, 1600. So you will find a number of aqueduct lines which are there, more intricate network than what you see in Pune, more older system around, so it's like 1565. So this is the last stage. So it started somewhere in 1500, and this is like till 1600, 1632. This whole system was there. And what you see in Nagar are these tanks. So this is Bingar. Yeah. So this is the tank which is there again on the road. So this is a public tank. They're called as Sat Toti Haud, No Toti Haud, Akra Toti Haud. So Toti is like Nala, So Purvi Titi Fakta openings as I say closed with dowels. So this is one such tank which is kind of covered during the British time. So this is Bingar. Then there are some tanks which are there. You will find opposite the masjid. Some of them are beautifully, these are beautiful structures, and there's water coming from this side. So this is what you find in Ahmednagar, a much more advanced system, and it is this system which inspired the Peshwas, and then you have the system laid out in Pune. And you have a similar kind, Aurangabad system is also pretty old system. So across Maharashtra, you will find same principle of hydraulics. You will find the terrain which is explored, which is sloping, the water which is carried through the main duct, which is 2 feet by 6 feet, mostly in stone, running, and then you have air wells, air shafts located at distances, around 100 meters center to center, and then you have the water coming inside the old part of the city. A similar system you will find in Baranpur. This is also something which I had studied at that point of time. So you will find the palace, and the palace, you again have this air shafts and the water from the well. The Bandara is kind of, you have these lines built, and so the water is purified, and then there you have this clay pipe connections. So this is stone pipe. This is all built in stone. This part is sometimes bricks, sometimes stone. And then the water individual connections are in clay so that you have pressure. This is huge pipe, right? 2 feet by 6 feet pipe will not give that pressure to your fountains, but clay pipe will. So that's why it's called khapri nala. So you have this individual clay pipe connections going inside these palaces. And this is how these ducts looked like in Baranpur. They were quite pretty close. And this is how it looked from inside. So see this person, standing over there, and it's like huge. It's even more than 6 feet. It's like 8 feet almost. And it's vaulted. So it's like round in shape, semicircular in shape. It's built in stone. And this is all lime, mostly lime used. So you'll find across the country very, very interesting water heritage. And I think we all should be proud of the technological advancement of that time, and how people could understand the topography, the geology, the hydrology, the water movement, and how they kind of build this whole system underground. I mean, imagine that time you don't have the JCBs, to dig the soil, but yet you have this system which is going very, very deep. Okay. And then you have this beautiful structures which are there all across India in different forms, different shapes. And there's a social life and a cultural life which revolves around this water heritage. Very, very interesting heritage. So thank you so much. This is from my side. I hope it was helpful and interesting.
Yes, thank you, Shubhada ma'am. That was indeed very insightful.
Yeah, any questions?
Yes, we'll wait for some time for people to type in their questions in the chat box.
Yeah. This is very interesting, I mean, a series of lectures on different systems across India. And it started with Rajendra Singh ji, so wonderful. He's like waterman. very popular, and the way he understands hydrology and geology, fantastic. And he's learned from the communities, that's what he says, that really learned from the people of that place.
We have a question about can the presentation be shared? Some of the earlier speakers have agreed to share. You could also let us know later if it is okay to share.
Definitely, I can share it. Yes.
And these are all available on YouTube. So these will be kept on the channel, which we have typed in the chat box. And the participants can always revisit the lectures that they have liked.
Definitely. Yes.
We have a question regarding any books on water system and hydraulic system.
Actually, there was a very interesting workshop which I think Vijay Paranjpe sir himself had arranged in 1996. After I came back, and there's a very beautiful publication by the Bhopal, Museum of Mankind. So, Traditional Water Systems of India is the title, and maybe you may get a copy of it in the museum, but otherwise it might be there on the net. I'm not too sure. But it really is a beautiful documentation of the traditional water systems across India. Fantastic papers written by everybody. Very good work. So you can refer to that. And my paper is in the public domain, so you can access any time. It is available on the net. There are some articles which are written. There are some journal papers which are written on this. And I presented this paper in 2000 at Bari, which was about history of water, so innovations and sustainable design. So that was one paper which I had presented. My first international travel to Italy. And Italy, I mean, it's known for water supply works and the fountains, beautiful fountain, the Trevi, and so many, huge lines which you can see actually spanning across the city. So that was really a dream come true to visit that place and present a paper on our system. I'm so proud to present this work.
Very nice to know that you could present something like this at an international forum.
Yes.
We have another question from Pallavi Damodara about how was the pressure maintained to be sufficient to feed the fountains?
Oh, actually, there are people who've done a lot of studies, like, for example, James Westcott. He is from MIT, USA, and I've worked with him on water. And I've worked with Rana Singh ji and even Amita ji on water, Ayodhya and other places. He has done an extensive study on the, how much water was really flowing throughout the day, how many gallons, and how much population did it really serve. The population was not much. See, the entire population was somewhere like 50,000, and then it grew to maximum 1 lakh. So it was not much. And then there were so many air wells and so many connections which people drew, from the air wells. While the line went till Shaniwarwada, there were many such connections. Almost, maybe I've not counted it, but maybe 60 to 80 such connections were there. Only on Katra's aqueduct. Huge network of it. And there was supposed to be one also in Tambatadi. Right now you just see the road widened over there. But even in Tambatadi, where, Tambats need a lot of water, right, to work on the copper. So they had the connection. Even Burudadi also, these people work, they need water. So they had this water from this aqueduct system used for even these purposes. Talim Khana people used water. But the water pressure was because of the shafts, actually. So the shafts created air column, and that kept the water flowing. And of course, it's all sloping. You've seen the section, right? It goes stepped form. So obviously, because it's stepped form, the water keeps flowing. And there is water in the Katra's lake. Even today, you will find it flows in the form of Ambiloda, and some of it goes in this aqueduct. The water is definitely there inside. And this was revived. Okay, something interesting. When Panchet dam broke off, there was a lot of problems with drinking water. So there's this Colonel Thoser, Major Thoser. So he revived this system during that time, and the water from the air shafts was drawn and it was used by the people for drinking. So it was kind of a lifeline at that point of time, serving the drinking water. Most of the parts of Shaniwar and all was all underwater that time.
Would you like to stop sharing screen so that we can see more of you on the screen?
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Thank you. I'll just read out the next question. Were the systems at Ahmednagar and Aurangabad developed by the Nawabs? Because a similar system exists in Hyderabad, sadly defunct now though. This is by Kritika Sridharan.
Yeah, see, this was built at different points of time. They were, but mostly it was for the Nawabs, it was for the royal family, and it was mostly for, apart from, of course, drinking water, it was for recreation. Because you have the fountains, and the fountains had to have pressure, and the pressure came because of the slope of the terrain and the aqueduct system which is stepping down, and then you have through the tiny clay, what you can say, khapri nala, the clay pots, clay pipeline, you have suddenly the water coming out. So from a bigger line, you have a smaller line connection, and then the water comes out with pressure.
We have quite a few questions coming up. We'll take most of them. Is it possible and beneficial to reuse this traditional and historic system for today's water problems?
Definitely. See, the water, I don't know how much it is potable, because after some time this water was stopped for drinking purposes. Okay. So probably पानशेत धरणाच्या वेळी जे काही पाणी पिलं गेलं, म्हणजे till around I think 1950s, the water was kind of consumed, and later till during Panchet Dharan it was kind of consumed, but later they stopped this particular thing. Now I've heard a story that this particular technology was used by one of the person. He had a farm on the farmland on the hill. So he used this system to get the water at the top level. And another interesting thing what I wanted to share was that when I studied this Nana Haud, there was a U-shaped copper, copper pipe of U-shaped, and I wondered why it was. Now this copper pipe actually was part of that system. So the pressure ni त्या copper pipe madna जाऊन, it used to come down, and when it comes down, it comes with more pressure. So that copper pipe U-shaped जो होता, that was to give pressure. So I'm sure people have, in parts where there are problems, you can definitely use this technology. The whole principle of hydraulics can be put to use, and water can be, channeled in using principle of hydraulics.
We have another question on, did the aqueducts feed into any tanks at a higher elevation that pressurize the fountains through gravity? I'll also read out the next one so that you can answer them together. Is all this technology coded in some texts of the times or local legends?
Actually, I got, I had, when I did my studies, and when I came to know that through some of the texts that this was built by a mason from Nagar, the first thing I did was I'd go to Nagar. And Nagar, fortunately, in the museum, I could see some written documents over there, but not about the, म्हणजे पाणी वाहत आहे, नळ म्हणजे काय म्हणतात, हौद भरले, पाणी वाहत आहे, असं आहे, पण नॉट मोर रिटन अबाउट दी हाऊस एज सच. बट डेफिनेटली PMC हॅज, Pune Municipal Corporation, that time they have done some surveys, and they have gone deep. I know a person, she was father of my friend. So they had gone deep. BKP many times faces flooding problem, and the reason why it floods is because there is this air well over there which gets overflowed, and the water comes inside because the walls are not enough to, kind of take the pressure. So there, they had gone down to the depth of 30 feet, 20 to 30 feet, and they could see the water running over there. So there is a bit of documentation which is done. Some of it is in my study when I did the surveys. So it's in bits and pieces, but there is not great effort. In fact, when I came back from Delhi, I presented this to Vandana Tai, and that we should do something about it, about the water system. And because that particular tank is there, you have that open space. At least एवढी तरी जागा तुम्हाला तिकडे नानावाड्याच्या समोर दिसते, otherwise गजबजलेला आहे. Okay, so wherever the tanks are there, at least you have some kind of social life at that point of time. So can we bring back that association? Because Nanavada is not just the building, but it is that tank which was built for the community, which is equally an important contribution to the city by these people, So by Nana Fadnavis and by all these people who did, and त्यावेळी bhakti movement होती, and doing something for the society was one of the concerns. So they did it, but there's not great documentation which is there. It's in bits and pieces, and very few texts which are kind of there. If at all they are there, and if you could share, I'll be more than happy to hear from you.
Thank you so much. We have some more questions coming in, but I think we will just request them to have some patience, and maybe we could write these questions to you if we'll be happy to answer them later.
Yeah, definitely. You can write to Intac and they can divert it to me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it is part of our culture. It is part of our cultural heritage, and I think we should do something about it. I've really worked on it. I tried to push it forward, but people have been negligent because the reason being it's underground, na disat nahi. So जर दिसला असतं वरती तर लगेच आपण त्याच्याबद्दल काही केलं असतं. But this system is underground, and then whenever you dig the road, when you start your metro, then you come to know, oh my God, पाणी लागलंय, and then the whole system is exposed, then it becomes the talk of the town at that point of time, and again forgotten over a period of time. So I think something needs to be definitely done about it, especially the Katra's aqueduct system, which is still in good condition even now.
Yeah, we hope that, and this webinar series is also a small effort towards this direction, where we talk more about these systems, their importance, and slowly we, with awareness, we hope they'll be conserved in future as well. If all of you have seen the invitation for the webinar, you must have seen there were two speakers today. Unfortunately, the other speaker couldn't make it because she's down with cold and a very bad throat. So she has sent her regrets to all of you. She would have been happy to share her work on the traditional water systems in northern India. But for now, we felt we don't want to, let you down. We have a very interesting surprise session for you by Dr. Ajit Vartak, who most of you are aware is a philately expert. He's going to present a very short presentation on philately and the traditional water systems. So I think this is quite a treat for all of us at the end of the session today. I invite all of you and Dr. Shubhada ma'am to join us for this interesting session. Thank you.
Yes, and I'm there, yes. Thank you so much.
Sir, would you like me to start sharing right away the presentation?
Yes. No, I think you can start sharing.
अजित सर, कॅमेरा थोडा हे करा म्हणजे तुमचा चेहरा पूर्ण दिसेल. आता हा ठीक आहे. थँक्यू.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Supriya Madam, for giving me this opportunity. Now, the subject of the presentation is philately and step wells. Probably all of you must be knowing what is philately. Philately is hobby of collection and study of postal stamps. So whatever you get in post office, if you start collecting that, that is called as philately. So philately means basically collecting everything what we get from the postal department or postal office. Now, philately is considered as king of hobbies. It is also known as window of a nation through which people overseas may behold its heritage. Philately can help bringing awareness and knowledge about heritage to common man by the easiest method. Go to the next slide. Now this is the first stamp which is well known as penny black because it is black in color and the price or denomination was 1 penny. So it is called as black penny and it was issued by United Kingdom in 1840. Now if you see this stamp, generally on every stamp we have the name of the country printed. But this country, that is England or UK, doesn't have printing of their country's name because this was the first country to issue the stamp in the world. So this is the first stamp in the world issued by United Kingdom in 1840. Next. This is the first stamp issued by India in 1852 and it is known as Sindh because this stamp was basically issued which was restricted to only Sindh province of India. So that is why it is known as Sindh because it was restricted to only Sindh province. And later on, in 1854, a stamp was issued which can be used all over India. Next. Now you can see here a complete sheet of stamp, that is 16 stamps are there, which were issued by Department of Post. Now Department of Post took a step towards keeping the stepwells indelible symbols of ancient water conservation techniques alive in the hearts of people. And that is why on 29th December 2017, India issued a set of 16 stamps on stepwells of India. Next. You can see these are the two first day covers because when a stamp is issued, on the first day of issue, we have a special cover that is called as first day cover, or it is also called as birth certificate of the stamp also because you get the idea regarding when the stamp was issued also. So these are the two first day covers which were issued on the first day. Next. Now this is a separate first day cover. You can see here 8 stamps are there. And if you see one interesting more thing that we call as cancellation, or Marathi we call shikka. If you see the cancellation here, you can see that we have a structure of stepwell also there depicted in the line drawing on the cancellation also. Next. This is the second first day cover where the remaining 8 stamps are there. Next. Now, if you see that all these 16 stamps, they were from 6 states of India. That is, 6 stamps were from Rajasthan, you can see here. Then 4 stamps were from Gujarat, 2 from Karnataka, 2 from Delhi, 1 from Haryana, and 1 from Uttar Pradesh. Now, all of you know that stepwells are wells in which water is reached by descending a set of steps. Now coming to tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we have all the lectures basically on stepwells where we'll get more detailed information. So these are the 6 wells from Rajasthan which are depicted on our Indian stamps. Next. Now these are the 4 stamps from Gujarat state. You can see on the top we have got Rani Ki Vav, which is considered as one of the World Heritage Site of India. And another one very important thing is that this stepwell is printed on our 10 rupee currency note also. That is again a very interesting thing. So this well is depicted on the stamp as well as our regular currency note also. So these are the 4 wells which are from Gujarat state. Next. These are the 2 wells from Karnataka. Now, all of you know that in Karnataka, we have got, instead of stepwells, we have got tanks, and they generally use the term Pushkarani. So this, which you can on the left side, you can see a very famous Pushkarni well from Hampi, that is. Next. Now these are the remaining step wells, that is from remaining 3 states. So on the top we have got 2 step wells from Delhi, then 1 step well from UP and another step well from Haryana. Next. Now I'll be showing you now 5 special covers were issued in India. Now when a stamp is not issued, many times many state government postal departments, they come out with a special cover on a particular heritage of that particular state. So this is a special cover issued by Gujarat Postal Circle in 2007 on Adlaj Stepwell. You can see here a special cover. In between, you have got a special cancellation also, which again shows a very interesting thing that this cover was issued during Gandhi PEX or Gandhinagar PEX 2007. On left-hand side, on the envelope, you can see some of the photographs of the Adlaj Stepwell. Next. Now, this is a special cover issued by Rajasthan Postal Circle in 2010 that we call as Raj PEX. Actually, the theme was water management systems of Rajasthan. You can see here different water management systems of Rajasthan. But on the right-hand side, you can see a particular step well, where you can see the step on the left-hand side, not right-hand side. On the left-hand side, you can see a step well. And in the cancellation, you can see that the ladies, they are fetching water on their head. Next. Now, this is a special cover issued by Delhi Postal Circle in 2016 on Agrasen Ki Bahudi. Again, here also you can see on the left-hand side, a photograph of Agrasen Ki Bahudi. And on the right-hand side, you have got again a special cancellation, which will be showing the same line drawing of the same what you have seen on the left-hand side. You can see in the print also, in cancellation also. So cancellation for special cover plays a very important role, as well as on the left-hand side, you have got very good photographs of a particular theme which is depicted on the title. Next. Now, this is a Taj Bahudi in 2017, issued by Karnataka Postal Circle. This is again a very famous tank in Karnataka, known as Taj Bahudi. You can see on the left-hand side, you have got some small photograph of Taj Bahudi. And on the right-hand side, we have a special cancellation where we have how the water conservation or water system helps for the irrigation also. Next. Now, this is the last recent special cover issued by again Rajasthan Postal Circle in 2020 on Turji Ka Jhalra. Again, this is a very famous well from Rajasthan where a stamp is also issued. You can see on the left-hand side, we have a photograph of Turji Ka Jhalra, and on the right-hand side, we have a special cancellation, which will be showing a line drawing about Turji Ka Jhalra also. So that way, postal stamps or philately can play a very important role as far as making awareness about our heritage sites, as well as anything about nature. Whatever you want, you can have any subject on postal stamps as well as on cancellation also. So that is why I think we must concentrate on, or we must try to come out with more number of stamps on different heritage sites of India also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed very enlightening. I think most of us aren't aware that so many postal stamps are available on this interesting theme.
अजित सर, मिनिट तुमचा स्क्रीन वरती तुम्ही या मॅडम, आय जस्ट टेक वन फोटोग्राफ ऑफ दिस. अजित सर, तुमचं स्क्रीन हे शेअर करा, म्हणजे तुमचा हा बस एक. थँक यू.
Thank you all.
Any question? Okay.
No questions for now, but I think this has given us a food for thought. And it was rather interesting to see such a beautiful range of stepwells on our postal stamps.
There are some comments that very interesting, and thanks, Vartak sir.
Yeah, there is one question on any exhibition come sale heritage postal stamp.
No, I think you have to approach the postal department only. In every city, they have got a special office where you have got a philately bureau also, where you can pay, I think, some amount as a deposit in the postal department, where you can have every stamp coming out from the government of India can be put in your locker, and at the end of the year, you can get all those stamps. Otherwise, you can directly go to the GPO or this thing. But generally, small cities, they don't have all the stamps. If you go to Bombay, GPO only, otherwise, some other older stamps is very difficult to get. Or you have to buy from the regular dealers at little bit more price.
If we don't have any questions right away, should we move on to the vote of thanks part?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Madam, vote of.
Yes, I don't think any more questions are coming, but a lot of positive comments and feedback.
Thank you, Ajit sir, for a wonderful presentation of the philately and bore wells and all those types of wells, heritage wells, which is a unique presentation. Thank you so much.
I think we'll conclude the session.
Yes, sir.
So with this, we conclude today's evening session. And tomorrow, we have 5th lecture in this World Water Week 2022. A lecture by Dr. S.C. Mathur, Professor Emeritus SGV University, Jaipur. He will speak on important stepwells of Rajasthan, implications for hydrogeotourism. I think which is a very interesting branch or a new subject, because all of you know ecotourism, but geotourism or hydrogeotourism is a new this thing coming up all over the world, and which is not still taking this thing in India. So tomorrow's lecture will be very interesting as far as stepwells and its hydrogeotourism. So that way it will be very interesting as well as important also. So tomorrow we'll be meeting at same time, that is 6 p.m. Same link, and if you are not able to join on Zoom, you can join on our YouTube live also. And with this, I think we'll conclude the session. Can you stop, madam? Should we stop, madam?
We karte. I will just type Mission Devrai YouTube channel.